Server-side includes. In the previous lesson, we saw how difficult it can be to use one page as a starting point to create another page. Here, we show you how to modify this process to some degree and also make your HTML code more easily modifiable as circumstances dictate. The idea is to create files with lines of HTML that are used in many different pages, and then let these pages include these files as needed. Bring in a copy. The catch is that all the files must be on your server, not your client, that is, your browser on your computer. That's why they're called server-side includes. This means you can't just test your code locally. Your browser can't work with this feature. With scripts and style sheets, you can test the pieces locally just to get them working before you put them up on the server. But with server-side includes, the assembling is all done on the server before your browser ever sees it. So let's take a look at how it works and how you can take advantage of it. Every HTML page starts with the same kind of initial lines, something like your doc type statement, possibly a copyright notice, your HTML element start tag, usually with a language, a head element, which might contain a meta element and a link to a style sheet. So we can create a TXT file with these lines, call it pagestart.txt, and then include this file at the top of every new page. How? Well, the syntax is ~! dash dash hashtag include. File equals the name of the file, space dash dash greater than. So if we put this hashtag include directive in a page, we're telling the server to replace this line with the lines found in the file name. In our case then, that would be ~! dash dash hashtag include space file equals pagestart.txt space dash dash greater than as the first line for the page's HTML file. Notes: be careful not to insert a space between the ~! dash dash and the hashtag include. Then the line would be considered just a comment. Your browser will not see the hashtag include statement. That statement will be replaced with the content of the file before the server sends the page to the client. The statement can be coded as file equals file name or virtual equals file name. File equals can only reference files in the current directory. Virtual equals can reference files in the current or other directories on the same website. Your server must be configured to allow this. Support is not automatic in any server. Talk to your ISP to ensure this is set up, or can be if necessary. To tell the server it should look for these kind of include statements, the page name should have an extension of .shtml instead of .html. The S, of course, indicating server. Technically, .stm and .shtm are also supported. In any case, browsers process these pages the same as .html pages. You may have noticed that all the pages on stillpluggingaway.com are named to end with .shtml. I make extensive use of server-side includes. Now, you might likely want to include a title element in your head, but you don't want to include this in your pagestart.txt. For example, here we have title, what will the strip be like? The problem is every page will end up having the same title. One option would be to have a couple of include files, maybe pagestart.txt with your doc type, copyright, HTML, head, meta, and link, and then afterhead.txt with the head end tag, the body start tag, and a whole bunch of div as we're going to frame the page in this particular example. Then an shtml page might start with this. Include file equals pagestart.txt, and then hard-coded title. What will the strip be like? End title. And include file equals afterhead.txt, and so on. The included file names do not need to have an extension of txt. The extension can be anything, but we usually use Notepad or similar to create these, so .txt seems natural. Suppose you have a links box entry like this, which is based on some of our earlier work. You'll recognize this. If these lines are contained in box1.txt, then every page in the site might have in the body there div class equals nav boxes, and there's our include for box1.txt, and then the end tag for that div statement. Of course, the div class equals nav boxes element could be included also, unless you wanted the option to have multiple navigation blocks within this element, at least on some pages. The content of an include file can be quite small. For example, webmaster.txt might contain Steve, and a page might have p element. Contact me at !! !! include file equals webmaster.txt space -- greater than at takayama.org to correct any errors, end tag. This would render as contact me at steve@takayama.org to correct any errors. Include statements may include other include statements. That is, you may nest includes. If you have nested includes, then the containing file's name must end in .shtml also to make sure the include processor looks for these files. You will see this all referenced as SSI for server-side include files. Consider creating your model HTML files to also have include statements. Another useful capability of server-side includes is displaying the current date and or the time or the date time the file was most recently modified. This information is stored in the directory entry for every file, and SSI allows you to access and display it in a web page. In general, you use the echo directive, !! !! var equals variable name, space -- greater than. The possible variable names you can use are limited, and the three most useful, in my opinion, are document name, the current file name, date local, the current date in the local time zone, and last modified, the last modification date of the current file. And by current file, I mean the file that contains these statements. For date-time values, you can specify the format you want to display using the config directive, !! !!config. Time fmt equals, and in quotes, a pattern, and space -- greater than. Now the pattern here consists of predefined variables separated by literal characters such as words, space, slash, comma, and so on. The most useful variables are %a, the abbreviated weekday name, %a, the full weekday name, %b, the abbreviated month name, %b, the full month name, %d, the day of month as a number. %d gives you the date as the month number / the day number / the year number. %H gives you the hour in a 24-hour clock, whereas %I gives you the hour in a 12-hour clock. %m is the month as a number, so 1 through 12. %M gives you the current minute from 00 to 59. %p is a string containing the characters AM or PM. %S is the second. %X is the time as hours, minutes, seconds. %y is a 2-digit year. %Y is a 4-digit year. And %Z is the time zone abbreviations such as MST, PDT, and so forth. I often have an include file, endpage.txt, containing these lines. a div for class equals footer, copyright symbol, and here's a config directive and an echo. So I'm putting out the local date time and I'm configuring it with the %y character. Then the line still plugging away, all rights reserved, and BR for a new line. Last update, and then the config again for the time, but this time I wanted a little different configuration. And then echo var last modified. So that'll put out the last modified date in the configuration just previously specified. Now this displays, for example, as this. Copyright 2021 still plugging away, all rights reserved. Last update Thursday 21 October 2021 at 14:16:09 Pacific Daylight Time. Remember, this time zone is the time zone that your server is in, where the file is located. Then, when my friend Lori Rasmussen gave me permission to use her music in my videos, I just needed to add this line, incidental music played by Lori Rasmussen, and include her website URL. Add that to endpage.txt, and now all my pages end with the copyright notice, the last update, and the incidental music line. SSIs were developed by the Apache Software Foundation, and their documentation is here, http://httpd.apache.org/docs/current/how-to/ssi.html, which is really minimal documentation. And Wikipedia has a good article here, https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/server-side-includes. But neither source documents the characters to use in the pattern, except to mention they are the same as used in C and Python languages' strftime functions, string format time. I've not seen any official standard for this from any of the usual international standards organizations, W3C, IEFT, and so on. But it seems SSI is widely supported, and I find it really helpful in creating and maintaining websites with multiple pages. C and Python standards are published by ISO, the International Standards Organization, but you need to pay to see a copy. Online sources, searchable by DuckDuckGo or Google, can get you the information you need, and I've selected the most useful for you in the list above. Now, there are references here and there on the W3C site to a server called Jigsaw, developed by the World Wide Web Consortium, but it seems to have died. There have been no updates or references since 2007. Jigsaw supports SSI with additional statements, but I would not count on having your ISP to be running Jigsaw. Also, I restrict my usage to the statements discussed here, include, echo, and config, which generally minimizes complexity, performance, and security issues. In this session, we explored how to use server-side includes, create files of data to be included, use the include statements to have the server bring in these files into your HTML pages, and name your HTML pages to end in .shtml. You can also reference a small set of predetermined variables to display the values using the echo statement, and use the config statements to specify date formats. Coming up, in the next lesson, we begin an exploration of how CGI programs work, from the form to the server and back. See you there.